All right, can you go ahead?
Yeah, you go ahead.
Obviously, a lot of topics you guys as coaches are looking at. One of the topics apparently getting discussion is some schools having a lot more non-assistant coaches helping with the football program than others. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think, for me, I think there's been a lot of discussion about staff sizes for 8 years since I've been a head coach. And, I think it's really comes down to who coaches on the field. We have rules in place, who can actually coach on the field. I really don't care how many staff members there are, I really don't. I think, especially in today's time, I think that there's a lot of really, really quality positions that have been created that are great for the student athlete. They're great for the assistant coaches from a support standpoint, but more importantly for the day-to-day, attention to detail that's required for your players. So, at the end of the day, the rules are who can coach on the field in the weight room, and I think that's what everybody should stick to. And then, at the end of the day, you're never going to run Nike the same as you do mom and pop shoe shop. There's always going to be differences from that standpoint. I mean, when you have a 100,000 seat stadium versus a 30,000 seat stadium, there's just differences that come with that. So, to each his own in that regard. Obviously we've grown our program now in 8 years, but we've always just taken what we had and tried to make the best of it. We haven't always been where we are right now. When I first got some support staff, when I got the job, there was one guy, Andy Johnston. And we've grown a support staff, and we've created an infrastructure, and we've been able to promote from within. When we've had opportunities, we've been able to develop career paths for coaches, administrators, create positions for former players to come back and be a part. I mean, to me, it's been very very good.
How has that transition helped you with somebody like Mickey Kahn, who was with the program,
around
the staff?
And again, when I first got some support staffs, I had 5 jobs, and none of them were full. They were all they were just I think it was like 18 or 19,000 and no benefits. But I was like, great. I just wanted to have some extra hands on deck there to help support the coaches in what we were trying to do. They couldn't coach on the field. And then as we've grown our program and trying to compete with other programs, then I was able to get some full-time spots. But that's a perfect example. You have a coach leave, you got a guy that's been in your program that's learned and developed, and now you get an opportunity to put a guy on the field. So that's been great for us. I think for a lot of people.
How many you got? What's your head count?
Head count? Yeah. Coaches? Yeah, I have 7 guys on our staff. We have our coaches, our coach, and we have 7, non-coach. Some people call them quality control. Some people call them analysts. Some people call them player development. We have 7 guys, and they do a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job. And their pay is not the highest, it's not the lowest. We're probably middle of the pack there comparatively, but those guys do a great job. And so.
Do you have a sense for how you compare numbers-wise, not pay-wise, but head count-wise with other programs?
No, I don't really. I don't pay attention to it. I just pay attention to what I think we need within our program, and we haven't always. And again, this is last year's first year I ever had 7. I was at 5 for a long time that weren't full-time positions, and then when Dan Radakovich came on board, he allowed me to make them full-time positions, and so it's. From that standpoint, it's been great as far as my experience, and I think again, great. The more hands you got on 120 guys, and the more support you have from a player development standpoint, the better. Now, if you have guys coaching on the field that shouldn't be coaching on the field, then that's against the rules. But the rules are in place for a reason. But I think the support has been good for the student athlete.
The redshirt rule that's now being proposed, your thoughts on that and what that would mean for you
I love
guys
it.
going forward?
You're talking about being able to play 4 games?
Right.
Well, I love that for a lot of reasons. You can look at last year. You might have guys decide not to play in a bowl game. You might have a guy that's just really not ready to play as a freshman. Cleveland Furl, not quite ready. And then all of a sudden you get to the halfway point and you don't want to waste his year. But, man, it would have been great to have played him by the end of the season. You're like, oh, cow, this guy's could help us. But you're not going to burn a year for 1 or 2. And, injuries. Guys get hurt, and it's a long season. We just played 2 15-game seasons. So, you get to the end of the year, you get some guys banged up and hurt. And a guy that maybe wasn't ready, now he's more prepared. He might come in and get you through a couple of games. It would be good for his development. I think it would keep the student athlete much more engaged because they know they got a chance to play somewhere during the season, up to 4 games. I don't care if it's just to go cover a kick. 1 rep, just the fact to be able to get in a game and get some experience and not lose a year. I think that would be great for the development of the player, for the engagement of the player, in the whole process that they're going through as a true freshman. And then again, the quarterback at Ole Miss, they come in and play and lose a whole year for 1 game. I mean, there's a lot of positives, and I think again, just from an overall player welfare standpoint, to be able to use more of your guys down the stretch if you needed them would be good. And then sometimes you play a guy early, then you realize he's just not really quite ready. And to be able to maybe sit him back down would be good as well.
Did you get a sense from the other coaches that there's a lot of agreement on that issue?
Oh yeah, the coaches were all for that. That's a no-brainer for coaches.
So what do you think the biggest holdup is there then?
The process. Yeah. Are you kidding me? I mean, we just spend a lot of time practicing talking around here. There's a lot more people that make those decisions that are above us as coaches.
Just conversation about you guys possibly when the network is launched in 2019, you guys might be hosting the first game on a Thursday night. Your thoughts on that possibility, and would that be neat for you guys, or what?
I mean, it wouldn't be the first time. We've been in those type of games, so it is what it is. I don't spend a lot of time worrying about scheduling and all that because I don't have any control over it, and you just line them up and let's go play them. So that's really it. But we've played in those big games.
You've always been one of the guys that's been out front, kind of a cheerleader for the ACC. Now you've obviously come back here with a national title. What kind of reaction did you get from your fellow coaches?
Oh, it's been great. Very, very encouraging, and not just now. I mean, I've seen all these guys several different times since the championship game, whether it was at the convention or recruiting or whatever, and they've all been, thrilled for us. And from a conference standpoint, I think we've got a great group of coaches. This league, in my opinion, is the best league out there. It's the deepest, I think. Other leagues may get a little more press or whatever, but at the end of the day, I think that's why we've been so successful in the postseason because of what we play week in and week out. And so it's just a great conference that's well positioned for the future.
Yeah, well, there's been talk, obviously, speeding up the game a little bit. Some of the officials maybe have them kind of get the game going a little bit faster. Is that something you guys as coaches have spoken a little bit about? Or?
Well, I mean, yeah, they've talked to us about, but I mean, I think it's more TV. A lot of commercials and all that type of stuff. I mean, the game is fine. We don't need to change the game, in my opinion. I think that they're looking at trying to quicken up a halftime or when they start the clock at halftime, and just a couple of little things here and there. But I think it's just maybe being. I think sometimes they may go over on some of those commercial breaks, those TV timeouts. But I think it's a great game. I have never heard of any fan complaining about too much college football. They may complain about too many commercials or too many, penalties or something or reviews, but I think everybody loves the game.
How's been the what you've gone through in the last couple months since you won the title? How has it been? Has it been a whirlwind type of it's not something you've been used to? I mean,
No. It's been obviously a different off season than I've had in the past because there's just more stuff that comes with it. You know, I'm starting with coming back and having a parade and a banquet and all that, and the planning of it, everything going into it, and then just a lot more. Again, just stuff, good stuff, but still things that you gotta manage and go through from a time standpoint. But it's been great. It's been just some very unique opportunities, all along the way. Whether it was sitting down with Roy Williams at the Chick-fil-A Challenge and having a fireside chat, that was a neat experience. To be able to. It was kind of surreal for me in front of a lot of my colleagues. So there's been a lot of neat opportunities that have come with it. But the best part has really been just kind of going around and seeing the Clemson folks and the joy that came from a moment and knowing that you were a part of that and being able to kind of experience everybody's individual joy, whether it was their view from the stands or in their den at home watching it on TV and just all the stories. That's been pretty cool. But it was good. The best part was just getting back to work in the spring. And, the guys were ready to get back to work and excited about, turning the page and go attacking this season.
Your team learned over the last 2 off seasons what it takes to get to that mountaintop. Do you see the same things this off season that you saw the last 2?
Well, this is the first. Last year was the first team I'd ever had coming back that had a national championship experience.